The movie opens with the sound of a heartbeat and a close-up of a woman's blue eye. Darkness closes in, then fades. A kaleidoscopic image transitions into a view of a bridge over the ocean. Ren Amari and Jared Amari sit on the beach in wetsuits. Ren encourages Jared to return to the water. He initially refuses, then agrees after she offers goggles and flippers. They swim together. A kaleidoscopic transition leads to a view from a building window. Ren opens her eyes, black fluid dripping from her right eye. She's on the floor surrounded by used plastic eyedroppers. A countdown clock shows 6 days until the launch of OtherLife. In a voiceover, Ren is heard during an interview with the TDA, the Drug Administration Agency. The interviewer mentions her strong academic record, which stopped 4 years ago. Ren explains this was due to an accident in which her brother nearly drowned. She clarifies he survived, but is now comatose. They discuss how to classify OtherLife. Ren defines it as biological software, not a drug, that allows users to create new memories indistinguishable from real ones. Ren visits her brother in the hospital. She sets up a laptop and headband to monitor his brain activity, then applies the black fluid into his eye. On a train ride, she declines a call from her father, Robert, and arrives at her workplace. Byron, a coworker, reminds her to approve pending items. In a test run, Ren experiences a skydiving sequence inside OtherLife, then wakes up in a testing room with Byron. Back in the interview, Ren's father is noted for publicly criticizing the technology. He warns it could cause seizures and brain damage. Ren admits risks exist, as with any substance. In voiceover, Ren describes the software while testing a hiking scenario. The experience is constructed using the user's subconscious, producing a realistic memory of a perfect day. She states the effect doesn't last beyond the scripted period. Ren tests a snowboarding simulation, climbing a mountain and riding down, but the loop restarts at the cabin, trapping her in a time loop. The simulation warps until Byron intervenes and extracts her. She has spent 6 days inside the experience. Despite the issue, she insists the code is fixable and the snowboarding module can still be marketed. At a sales meeting, Sam, Ren's co-founder, pitches OtherLife to investors. He describes it as a product offering virtual adventures within short real-world timeframes. He claims it can add years of experiences to a person's life. When Ren arrives, Sam introduces her and asks her to explain the technical side of the software. Afterward, they disagree on the company's future direction. After the meeting, Ren runs into Danny, who was waiting for a date she had forgotten. She tells him she needs to keep working. Meanwhile, in the interview, officials read reports describing how users of OtherLife can experience dissociation from reality, making the experience feel isolating. That night, Ren and Byron work late debugging the snowboarding simulation. The countdown shows 5 days until OtherLife's launch. Ren identifies the bug and runs a successful test. Byron asks how many times she's tested the system. Ren says 482 tests, equivalent to living 20 days in OtherLife within a single real day. Danny arrives to deliver a report Sam requested on long-term use of OtherLife. Ren reads it and realizes she wasn't informed. She warns Byron not to go behind her back. Byron argues that the recursive glitch they've been encountering could extend simulation durations. He and Danny leave to get drinks, but Ren stays behind. Ren tests a swimming simulation with her comatose brother again. She sits surrounded by used droppers. She records her 340th test, noting that more trials are still needed. In the interview, the officials discuss the medical potential of OtherLife for treating brain and memory disorders, but raise ethical concerns about implanting ideas. Ren states she has no interest in other uses. Later, she visits her brother and applies the tech again. His eye twitches, which gives her hope. When a nurse sees her, she quickly hides the equipment. The nurse says involuntary movements like that are common. Back home, Ren reviews data. Byron and Danny call her from the bar. She receives an email from her father about ending her brother's life support. The next day, she visits her father at the college where he teaches. They discuss OtherLife's development and its potential to help her brother. He expresses concern about the glitch. Ren insists it's just bad code. He counters that mental disorders could also be viewed as bad code, but the brain is more complex. Ren accuses him of giving up on her brother. He says he can legally withdraw life support and wants her agreement. Ren returns to the office, frustrated. She asks a co-worker named Cass to help remove her files from the system. Meanwhile, Sam and Byron notice a discrepancy between the reported tests and the nanite supplies being used. When asked what simulation she's running, Ren says it's experimental and doesn't share details. After Byron leaves, Sam talks with Ren alone. He proposes using OtherLife for criminal rehabilitation, compressing long prison sentences into minutes. Ren rejects the idea. Sam becomes angry and tells her to focus on the commercial product. Outside, she runs into Danny again. He notices her mood, but she doesn't explain. They leave together and later have sex. Afterward, Ren shows Danny the snowboarding simulation. He's surprised by how real it feels and discusses how memory is tied to chemicals. While Ren checks her phone, Danny takes another dropper from her bag, assuming it's the same simulation. Instead, it's one of Ren's experimental programs involving her brother. Danny begins to seize and becomes unresponsive. Ren immediately calls an ambulance. With just under 5 days until launch, Ren and Sam meet with legal counsel. Ren clarifies that OtherLife is not a drug, but a software. After the meeting, Sam speaks to her privately about Danny's death. He points out that every other simulation had been thoroughly tested, except the one that killed Danny, which only Ren had used. During the TDA interview, Ren is asked about her ultimate ambition for OtherLife, but she gives no answer. To avoid legal prosecution, Sam arranges a deal. Ren will undergo a 1-year confinement simulation using OtherLife as a test subject. Sam pressures her to accept, arguing it's the only way to save the company. Ren realizes he had continued developing the confinement application without her knowledge. He claims a single year of her life is worth it, given her role in Danny's death. She agrees. Ren, Sam, Byron, and officials gather in the testing room. Nervous about the extended simulation, Ren double-checks everything with Byron before being put under. Inside OtherLife, she wakes in a small cell. A screen displays the number 001. The room includes a mat, toilet, tablet, pen, and a hatch for food and water. She tracks her experience, exercising, eating, and making notes, even though she knows no one will see them. Each day, the room resets, the lights turn red, and the number updates. On day 2, she remembers Danny's seizure. By day 3, she's fidgeting with the floor grate to distract herself. On day 5, she recalls swimming with her brother and his near drowning. She vows not to forget him. She begins researching coma recovery cases and logs her findings. Over time, she questions whether her brother is truly gone and whether consciousness can be restored through memory programming. On day 365, she expects to be released. The lights flash red, but the display resets to 001. Realizing the exit code failed, she panics, destroys parts of the room, and lies in the wreckage. Eventually, she hears wind. She opens the food hatch, finds a gap, and tears through plastic sheeting. Beyond it is a warehouse-like facility containing her enclosed cell. She finds stored supplies, a monitoring station, and a guard's desk. When the guard returns, she grabs keys and a coat and flees. She steals a truck and escapes. Ren ends up walking along a busy road where she sees public ads for OtherLife. She contacts the hospital to ask about her brother and visits her office, which is now abandoned. She buys new clothes and sees Sam on a magazine cover. At the police station, officers discover she was reported missing, but also officially listed as living in Italy for the past year. She explains everything about OtherLife and her role as co-founder, but no records exist of charges against her. When police inspect the confinement location, only scraps remain. She checks her apartment, but someone else now lives there. The building manager refuses to let her retrieve anything. Sam arrives, claiming he came as soon as he heard. He tries to get inside the building, but the front desk attendant blocks him. Ren avoids him and eventually sneaks out without being seen. She finds Cass, who lets her in and gives her food. Cass tells her that everyone thought she had taken her money and moved to Italy without saying goodbye. Ren also learns that Danny survived. They reunite. Ren, Cass, and Danny meet at a restaurant. Danny describes his experience in the swimming simulation, saying it felt like drowning. He recovered after a week in the hospital. The OtherLife launch was successful, and the confinement feature became central to the company's business model, with discussions of using it for decades or centuries-long sentences. Ren wants to investigate what happened. Danny suggests she run or go public. Ren reveals she had registered her father's unused patent in hopes of helping her brother, but now Sam has taken it. Using Cass's ID, Ren and Danny sneak into the OtherLife office. They reach Byron's office, where Danny holds him off while Ren accesses his terminal. She retrieves her hard drive. Byron alerts the authorities, so Ren punches him, and she and Danny escape. Cass is caught during the escape. Ren tells Danny they need an OtherLife printer, but since most are at the company, they drive to her father's house. When they arrive, it's empty, so Ren begins setting up. The next morning, Ren wakes at the desk. She and Danny eat breakfast together and talk. She apologizes, and he forgives her. They have sex. The same close-up of her eye from the beginning reappears. She wakes to the sound of her father returning home. Ren talks to him, explains how Sam stole her work, and realizes her father was the one who filed the missing persons report. Ren returns to the printer and explains the swimming simulation. When Danny used it, he experienced drowning. His subconscious directed the simulation in that way. Ren had designed it with branching paths to give Jared a choice, including one where he could survive and potentially wake up. Her version of OtherLife allowed users to rewrite memories, making it dangerously close to a drug. She feared the company would eventually refine the tech into that same state. Robert agrees to call the TDA and report a safety concern, which would trigger a regulatory delay and buy them time. Ren prints the new simulation and confirms it's complete. She takes it to the hospital and administers it to Jared. At first he wakes up, but then immediately begins to seize. Ren panics, hesitates, and ultimately pulls the plug. She stays by his side through the night. Sam appears at the hospital and tells her that Jared chose to stay in the dream rather than return to real life. Ren starts seeing fragmented visions, flashes of the testing room, voices yelling, Byron telling her to wake up. The hospital setting disappears, and she finds herself alone on the beach again. Realizing she's still inside OtherLife, she walks into the water. The scene turns kaleidoscopic and red. She wakes up in the real-world testing room, punches Sam, and attempts to destroy the recording. Eventually, she calms down and sits with a cup of tea, reflecting on her time with Jared, her father, and Danny. Back in the TDA interview, she finally answers the question about her ambition. She says she wants to give people a different kind of life they wouldn't otherwise get. The interviewers approve OtherLife for public use. Ren meets with Sam. She apologizes for hitting him and tells him she's stepping away from the company to focus on research and development. She plans to keep her patent. Sam is furious and throws an object after she leaves. Ren attends Danny's cremation and talks to her father about Sam. She invites him to go with her to visit the hospital. Before she arrives, she gets a call from Sam, asking her to return to the office. When she gets there, she finds the team packing up equipment. Sam and Byron are reviewing her simulation. They realize she managed to escape from the digital prison, and Sam becomes excited about turning it into an interactive product. Ren refuses to participate and tries to leave. Sam convinces her to sit, then forcibly has her placed back into the same simulation. Byron initially resists, but agrees after Sam insists it will help them get Ren back quickly. Ren wakes in the simulation again and begins working through the logic of how to escape. She eventually frees herself. Back in the lab, she wipes the black fluid from her face and forces Sam into the same experience. She and Byron monitor Sam as he endures the 365-day simulation. When the system begins to crash, Byron warns that Sam may die if he isn't pulled out. Ren waits until Sam completes the entire experience before waking him. Sam breaks down in the chair. Later, Ren and her father mourn Jared at the hospital. Ren returns to the bridge at the beach and watches the ocean. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned because every story has a sequel, and you won't want to miss the next one. Thanks for watching.